My feeling about the Shimmering Cream Eyecolor was one of the most exciting challenges to date in creating the product line. What I wanted to do was engage the customer with some surprising shades. So I went with a black and a teal blue and in kind of richer tones. And I'm just playing around with the greens and blues and this very intense purple. And then also some more like deeper natural tones, working with like kind of brownish beige and like a bronzy green. So bringing the whole line up to date. Super chic, very happy with the colors. I think the texture is fantastic on this product. What we did, one of the main things we did, apart from going in a stronger color direction for some of the shades, is to reduce the pearl somewhat, enhance the smoothness and the blendability. So it works a lot more for different women, but I think it's one of the best cream shadows on the market. So it's really about finding the balance of the texture, the performance, the beauty, of course, and I said, the fun of the color. For the main campaign visual, what I wanted to do was sort of a bit, what I said before about the colors, was I really wanted to like push this point that we're doing something intense with color, because previously it's been very pastel-y, very soft, very tender, beautiful, but very kind of discreet. So I used the Magnolia Pink and the Purple Dawn colors together. We made Raquel's hair very dark. We used a spotlight on her. It made it very intense, very strong and direct. And it was really about this punch. In the same way as we've done lipstick visuals to pop, because what you have to do, you think about an advertising visual, it's got to stop you in your tracks in the magazine, or it's got to catch your eye from 50 meters across a department store. So the main thing is like, bang, what do you get? Tell a story as soon as you can. A visual impact is super important, and I think those colors tell the story really well. I'm really happy with the main visual. I think it's great. What's so good about working with Nick Knight and working with Raquel is, you know, I think collectively we have an amazing team, and we're building this visual, we're building a visual language, the branding of Shiseido, and we're telling the story. And even though we change, of course, color, sometimes the emphasis is on the eye, sometimes it's on the lip, but it's always of a whole. It's always this visual that we build and tell the story. And you get this kind of repetition and a strength that hopefully draws people to the counter, and then they get to find out for themselves how good the product is, and they bring this into their own life. What I want to do with the visuals as well is for them to be aspirational. I want the visual to be something that excites a person and draws them in, and then we tell them the story of color, and we hopefully find the right colors for them. A good starting point is to think about mist. I mentioned mist before. Very transparent, very light, and the photography that mist is based on is looking across a lake. There are some rushes, there's fog in the background. It's almost monochromatic. It's almost a black and white photograph, but there's a little trace of color in the pearl there. So I wanted to play with that. I wanted something that could be working as a highlighting color, something you can use as a base, as a wash, and lay out other colors over the top of it. You could highlight the bridge of the nose, the bow of the lip, the top of the cheekbone, because it has that kind of transparent quality, and that reflects in the product as well. Magnolia is really simple. Magnolia sort of belongs to the tradition of the hydro powder eyeshadows, but for the Shimmering Cream eye color, the Magnolia, I just wanted to pop a fresh, bright pink. So I photographed a tulip magnolia tree in my garden and started painting pinks. Nice, bright, cool, fresh, easy, something to play with. Techno Gold is a photograph I actually took in Japan. One day we were shooting and we drove forever to the middle of nowhere to some photo studio. I don't know why it took so long to get there. We drove like an hour and a half. And parked outside, someone had a motorcycle and they'd thrown almost like a mylar blanket or like something to protect the bike over it. And it was this crazy, brilliant yellow gold, really kind of like artificial and synthetic looking. And I just thought techno gold. It just looked really great and metallic, and I just wanted the idea of this kind of bright pop yellow gold, just that brilliance of gold. I wanted that kind of hit. The picture for Meadow is in the field that's behind my house in Long Island. So this is kind of late in the day. The wind was blowing it, I photographed it. Beautiful kind of golden, glossy color. Very flattering, very easy to use, very pretty. Sort of a neutral, like a pretty much any woman color. And I just thought that had the nice kind of quality about it. Purple Dawn is a strange color. I wanted to play with this idea of purple, and I didn't really have a reference in mind. And I was flying back from who knows where. I guess I was flying back from Europe or something. And strange color in the light. So I just photographed it out the airplane window. And the sun is kind of breaking, and the sky and looking down toward the land has this really strange purplish cast to it. So that's about as random as you can get. I mean, I'm sure that it's the way that light changes and the sun goes up or down, and the light changes maybe only for a fraction of a minute. But I just shot this picture, and it has this little flash of gold going through it. So we incorporate a little bit of the pearl into the purple as well to get the kind of intensity. So Purple Dawn sort of sounds like a science fiction movie or something, but it's basically just a snapshot from a plain window. Leather was an idea and a photograph simultaneously. Leather was one of the ones where I set out to photograph. I had this idea of what I wanted to do with a kind of reddish brown. So I started photographing shoes and handbags and pillows and leather furniture and anything. It turned out to be a couch in the apartment in the city. And I punched the pillow a little bit to get a bit of a ripple in the surface, photographed it, started painting these different kinds of reddish browns, tweaked, played around with it a little bit. Just wanted that kind of richness. I like the suggestion of richness in leather, that kind of luxury idea of the color. Patina, which I think I mentioned briefly before, was a close-up of some silver and some pewter housewares. It's a very elegant color. It's very glamorous. And you could punk it up a little bit. You know, you can make it a bit more scrubby and kind of tough looking, or you can use it in a very sophisticated, discreet way, maybe blending it out with gold. And it's just something I liked about, again, it's a sort of a luxurious feeling to the color. I think it might be one of the Icelandic pictures, just bright green moss on a rock. And green is a tough one because, you know, I wanted it to be quite poppy, the green, but I also wanted it to be very, very wearable. You can use it like a lining color, or you can just buff it out and make it more hazy and soft. Sable is looking at fur, so I was photographing fur close up. And what's interesting is after this whole series of things, I photographed furry stuff like hats and coats and blankets. And I actually think what I photographed isn't sable, but I like the name. And I photographed metal, I photographed some aluminium work surfaces, stainless steel. And what I ended up using actually was a close-up of some takeout containers in a deli window. And they were all stacked up together. But just photographed close up like this, it could be ductwork, it could be something industrial, so the edge of some part of machinery, but it's basically tinfoil. So it's just tin. It was just one of those moments. It was a store in New York, and I was looking around, and I might have even been doing some Christmas shopping or something crazy like that. And this strange little candle just caught my eye, and I just love this color. And like I said, it's a little child's head, looks like a cherub, and I just decided to call it Angel. Caviar has a slightly greenish cast to it. Different caviars have different tones of green. Malasol has a different, I think, to a citra. And so I made sure there was green in the black as well to give a little bit of pop, and there's some nice kind of sheen to it. So that, again, can look very, very rich and elegant and luxurious, but it could be kind of tough and aggressive. But like I said before, everything gets remixed, customized, and you make the colors work for you.